Welcome to your nightmare, bitch!
Paramount is now developing a new Nightmare on Elm Street movie, and that alone tells you this reboot is not business as usual. Because the real story is not just that Freddy is back, the real story is whether Hollywood can bring back one of horror's most iconic villains without repeating the mistakes that hurt the last reboot that they tried to put out. So if you guys didn't know, Paramount is moving forward with a new Nightmare on Elm Street movie. The project is being developed through Paramount Primal, the studio's new horror and genre label. So I guess they're really going to dive into this sector.
Wow.
This deal is with the Wes Craven estate, which controls the U.S. rights connected to the original screenplay. That matters because this is not just another studio randomly deciding to reboot an old horror title. It actually involves the estate of the man who actually created the original Freddy Krueger. So right now, there's no confirmed title, no confirmed director, no confirmed cast, and no confirmed plot. All we really know is that the new movie will be set in the world of A Nightmare on Elm Street. So this could be a straight reboot. It could also be a legacy sequel, or it could be, something that uses the original concept in a new way, like Wicked or something like that, where they do like another perspective. But either way, Freddy is back on the table.
Oh, man. So you're trying to say that Freddy probably has a kid or something?
No, I'm saying, what would you think? Do you think they're going to continue on with the story, remake the original one, or a sequel type thing, or a new point of view?
So, all right. So when they did the remake, they did the remake as if he was living at the school's facility or whatever, like underneath in the boiler and stuff. So that's the reason for it, because that's when the town went after him and unalived him. That's whenever they kind of remade that story. But I would say if like I said, you're gonna go the Wicked way, well then you can say that how he got there was like, okay, he got divorced. He does have a kid, but maybe from there, from the kid's perspective, he continues his father's legacy.
But why this is a big deal, Freddy Krueger is not just another horror villain. He's one of the big ones. Michael Myers had his comeback, of course. Ghostface came back with Scream.
Oh, yeah.
Leatherface has been rebooted. The Chucky found new life on TV in a series. Jason Voorhees has been stuck in rights drama for years. But Freddy has been mostly absent from movies since the 2010 remake. That's wild when you think about how massive the character used to be. Freddy was not just in horror movies. He was on posters, T-shirts, lunchboxes, music videos, talk shows, Halloween costumes, TV series. He actually became bigger than the movies itself, kind of like sometimes Disney characters do, where they just kind of, make more money off the merch and all that stuff than they do off the movies.
Like Toy Story.
Yeah. So the fact that he has been gone this long tells you there was more going on than just Hollywood forgot about Freddy. So part of the reason why he disappeared is the rights situation. In 2019, the U.S. rights to A Nightmare on Elm Street reportedly reverted back to the Wes Craven's estate, like we mentioned. And that does create a complicated situation. New Line Cinema was the studio most associated with Freddy.
Like I said.
Yep. The franchise was so important to New Line that people used to call that studio the house that Freddy built.
When I seen that little I'm gonna play. That when I seen that, I'm like, oh shit, are we watching Nightmare on Elm Street, guys? I was
you
young.
Just thought it was.
No, I was really scared though, because it could have been like whatever, any other movie. I'm like, oh shit, because I just know that was the house of Freddy, so I was like, oh shit, we watching Freddy.
Yeah. But once the domestic rights shifted back to the Wes Craven estate, any new movie needed that right deal. So that is why the Paramount news matters. So essentially, I guess Paramount stepping in means the estate finally found a studio partner for the new version. So it's not just about a reboot announcement, it's the right situation finally turning into movement. So the original Nightmare on Elm Street came out in 1984. And obviously Wes Craven wrote and directed it. Robert Englund played Freddy Krueger, and Robert Englund just barely got his star on the Hollywood.
Yeah, which you can actually see at the end of this video too.
Johnny Depp made his feature film debut.
Oh, yes. I remember the great part where he got slashed, which I'm going to play.
different was the concept. Michael Myers could chase you, Jason could stalk you, Leatherface could come after you, but Freddy got you when you were asleep. So there was no really like avoiding it.
Yeah, I mean, come on now. Your body works all day, and he'll just be like, "Yeah, man, I'll catch you later, dog. Catch you in your dreams."
That's
It's
kind
the
of
best
scary
part.
for, I mean, a lot of people lost sleep around this movie when it first came out.
Oh yeah,
They probably
man.
didn't want to go to sleep.
I was one of those kids at that time, man.
Because sleep isn't optional. At some point, your body's just going to do it for you.
Yeah,
Even
by
if
all
you've been up
means.
for like 3 days as a kid, you're still going to have to sleep at some
Yeah, you
point.
still have to go to sleep, dog. And Freddy's gonna be like, yeah, Shay's gonna have to go to sleep, dog. We're gonna get her.
It's like Mr. Sandman saying, "Mr. Sandman will bring you some dreams," and then
Hmm.
Freddy's over there waiting for you.
Yeah, Freddy probably paid the Sandman to be there. Hey, play your tune, dog.
So eventually, you have to close your eyes, which is the genius of the horror behind Freddy Krueger.
To be honest, a little backstory. How Wes Craven came out, because somewhere in the '80s, people were getting sleep paralysis. So that's pretty much what Freddy does. He puts you into sleep paralysis, and then
That's how he got the idea, was from people having that
right.
going on.
And but I mean, it's a brilliant idea. So
Yeah.
that's why I love him.
And then the other things that set Freddy apart was he actually talked, which a lot of the horror characters don't.
Well, yeah, like I like the original like three Child's Play, but then when you start going into like the 2000s and how they changed it, they still kept the original actor that did the voice.
He also had a personality unlike some of the other characters. He mocked his victims and he enjoyed being theatrical.
Mhm.
At his best, he was scary and funny at the same time, which that balance is kind of hard to pull off if you're trying to maintain
Right. I mean,
the
that's
horror factor.
it's the
Scary.
same thing with Chucky. If you watch the original three, it's just he still played that role. Like he was still a maniac killer, but
Right.
with some jokes.
So if it's too funny, obviously it becomes like unbelievable and like cartoony. But he was able to kind of keep it scary. The early movies understood that Freddy was supposed to feel like a nightmare, not just a guy with knives, and that it could bend reality. So he could turn your own fear against you, and that would make the dream
Yeah.
world feel like a trap, which is what the new movie has to remember. If
Right.
they don't get that part of it right, it
But you
probably won't.
remember how like even if like let's say for example it was me, you, Julius, and James, and you are asleep and we try waking up, and if you're stuck in that parasite, we try waking you up, and you may be stuck in that place, and it's up to you to kind of figure it out, because if you follow the Freddy series, there was one group of people where they were able to use their own dreams, like, all right, let me get a gun, let me do this, and then they were able to fight back. I think it was Dream Warriors. I believe it was Freddy. Name on Elm Street, I think Dream Warriors.
So where the
Matter of fact, play the logo in front of me. How about you? I'll probably wet my pants. I probably remember. Oh yeah, I remember.
The franchise lost the fear a little bit. So as the sequels went on, Freddy became more of a pop culture mascot. So the kills got bigger, the jokes got louder, the one-liners became part of the brand, and Freddy was more entertaining, but it also made him less scary. So by the time casual audiences knew the sweater, the glove, the hat, and the jokes, Freddy was not just a monster anymore. He was kind of like a celebrity.
Yeah, that's why whenever okay, in the wintertime and somebody rock like that type of sweater, I'd be kind of scared. Especially around even around the fall, like right before Halloween. I'm like, oh man, dude. I remember, my teacher rocked that sweater, and I was like,
Wow.
but I think he was just trying to make a joke, but it's not a good joke, dog.
So that's part of the problem with rebooting now is that, they took it a little bit too far with all the sequels because they did get a little carried away on that.
Yeah, like I said, there's a cutoff point, and Hollywood has to understand, like, hey man, it's 3 to 4, dog. Like 3 to 4, and that's it.
Yeah.
You can kind of expand. Like a perfect example is Wizard of Oz, then comes Wicked. Like you can expand that realm and that world. How about that? That's like meeting halfway from the creator's perspective.
Like instead of just keep dragging out the storyline, like do something else about the original storyline.
Exactly.
Yeah. So Paramount has to bring back that icon, obviously, but they also have to make him dangerous again. So it's not going to be very easy. But the remake problem from the 2010 movie was Jackie Earl Haley played Freddy. On paper, the casting made sense, but he's a very serious actor. So he could play a dark, creepy, and damaged part. But the remake did not become the new beginning fans were hoping for.
Mhm.
So a lot of fans felt like it was bleak, cold, and missing the nightmare energy of the original. Tried to make
Again,
Freddy darker, but it did not fully replace what Robert Englund had brought to the role. So that's the trap with Freddy.
it is
I
what
don't
it
know if they're gonna
is.
be able to do it, honestly.
Again, I said, judging, I don't know how Mr. England's health and everything is, but he should be the person that if he's not able to do it, or
At
have
least
somebody,
direct it.
or at least like have somebody, or at least like kind of be the person like, oh, I want this young kid or young person to be my role because
Yeah. But you can't just put someone in makeup and call it Freddy. That's the problem. The
Mhm.
performance is the character and the voice matters, the body language matters, the timing matters. Obviously, the cruelty and the humor matter. So if they don't find a balance between those two things, then it'll be either
Yeah,
campy
and
and it
that's
won't
why I
work,
like, and
or
that's why I
it'll be
like
too
Robert
dark
Englund,
like the 2010
and that
movie.
is why I like Robert Englund. That's why it's very hard.
So the Robert Englund problem is probably the
Sweet.
biggest question around any new Nightmare movie. Who plays Freddy? Robert Englund is Freddy to most fans. He did play the role across decades and turn the character into a horror icon, but he has also said he is too old to fully return to the role in the same physical way.
Mm.
He's not interested. That means Paramount probably has to recast him, and that is very
But
risky.
again, going back to what I originally said just a moment ago, or what we were just talking about, he needs to
Be involved at least.
be involved and be like, hey, I want him to, this is how I would handle it.
Yeah.
Just like how I just said that I would handle it this way. Let him direct the young person into it.
Yeah. So horror fans can't accept a new ghost face because the mask changes people, but um, they can accept different actors as Michael Myers or Jason because those characters are mostly silent. The problem with Freddy is that he has a personality and he's not silent. So just putting something else in the role
Yeah, I mean,
usually doesn't
it's the
work
same
the
thing
same
like
way.
about Chucky. I can't really.
So recasting him is more like recasting Jack Sparrow or Tony Stark, where you can't just do that. It's the it's the identity of the movie, you know. Technically, it's possible, but very difficult.
Yeah, no, and again, I'm not saying it's not, like you said, possible, but it's like you need that person to at least be there on the team to be like, okay, I can accept this person as that. Because if anything happens, then you can be like, hey, such and such accepted that.
Yeah. But what the new movie should not do, it should not just copy the 1984 movie scene for scene. Nobody wants to see that.
Nah.
Fans already have the original. They're not going to accept a redo of the actual Robert Englund's work. It should not turn Freddy into a generic supernatural killer. The more you explain a nightmare, the less scary it can become. So obviously, they need to not chase the nostalgia so hard that it forgets to scare the new audiences. The movie has to make people afraid to sleep again. What the new movie should do is bring back the core idea, teenagers being hunted in their
Hmm.
dreams. It should make sleep feel dangerous again. It should use surreal, creative nightmare imagery. Should make him cruel before it makes him funny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
definitely for sure. I mean,
but why Paramount may want this now. Horror is one of the safest bets in Hollywood when it is done right. Horror movies can be made for less money than giant superhero movies, just
yeah.
like The Obsession one we just saw took off. Um,
Fuck yeah, man.
it creates Halloween relevance every year. People usually rewatch them, same as like like the Home Alone movies and that type of stuff. Obviously, there's been a lot of success with like the Scream franchise, Quiet Place, the Smile franchise.
Hmm.
So bringing Freddy into a new Paramount horror label makes sense, but it's not just about one movie. So that's why it's about whether Paramount can build a new horror pillar around Freddy Krueger.
Yeah,
Um,
well, I'm hoping. I'm really betting on them on that one.
Fans are excited, but they're also nervous. The normal reaction when Hollywood touches a classic, people want Freddy back, but they don't want a lazy reboot. So yeah, so that's kind of where we're at with all of that. The bigger question is whether Freddy Krueger can still work in 2026 because audiences
Uh,
are different now.
like I said, I felt like if they can bust one out October of 2026, that'd be great. But I would rather them in 2027 say, hey, we're going to come up with something. But at least in 2026 of October, you can come up with a teaser trailer.
Yeah.
And then get the fans kind of amped up. And,
So anything else you want to add on to this one?
I think I'm going to add a Freddy scene in here.
So, guys, yes, Freddy Krueger is coming back, allegedly. Well,
Oh, no, he
we'll
is.
see. There's no real, for
Oh, man,
sure.
jeez.
I mean, they don't have it filmed yet, so we can't say for sure. They could always put it on a shelf like they like to do.
It's Hollywood. You know they're going to do it.
They said that about a lot of other things as well.
Oh, Shay.
The real question is not whether Hollywood can reboot A Nightmare on Elm Street. It's whether they can actually make Freddy scary again without losing what made him iconic in the first place.
Again, Shay. You're way over there, but just imagine this finger on your lips. They're going to do it.
Okay. But if they get the tone right, cast Freddy carefully, and bring back the nightmare logic that made the original so disturbing, this could be one of the biggest horror comebacks in years. So,
Again,
what do you guys think? Let us know. Should they do a full new movie reboot, a legacy sequel, a different angle like we talked about, or something completely different? And who could possibly replace, well, nobody's ever going to replace him, but who could possibly reprise Robert Englund as Freddy? Let us know that in the comments below. And like, comment, subscribe, guys. We're going to put our old video that we did on the Freddy franchise in here for you to check out. And we will see you on the next episode of Two Peas Out the Pod.
I hope it's going to be right here, or maybe it's going to be right here. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's going to be right here.
Bye, guys.
Peace out.